stand still. Out of 8 billion people alive on this planet right now, you're one of the few who's going to hear this today, and that's no accident. The exact moment you were born, I stopped looking at anything else. And I've never looked away since. I didn't look away when you thought no one was watching. I didn't look away when you cried in the bathroom with the door locked. I didn't look away when you turned off the bedroom light, hoping the exhaustion would also turn off the thought. I didn't look away for a single second. On any of your days, even the ones where you were absolutely certain you were completely alone. Stay until the end of this video, because before it's over, you're going to receive a simple, free protocol that reveals the name heaven uses to call you. A name different from every label they've stuck on you throughout your life. And there's a person, the most important person in the entire universe, who's obsessed with who you really are, not with who you pretend to be in front of others, not with who circumstances forced you to become, with who you are truly on the inside. You're about to discover what that person has already seen in you that no one else has noticed yet. You wake up at 3 in the morning and can't explain why. It's not regular insomnia, the kind a glass of water or a deep breath fixes. It's like something poked you in the middle of sleep. A call without a name, without a voice, without a clear shape, and you just lie there, staring at the ceiling in the dark, trying to understand why your body rests, but your spirit stays awake, alert, waiting for something you can't even name. You've tried blaming it on anxiety. You've tried blaming it on work stress, worrying about bills, some random thought your mind invents to justify the inexplicable. But that's not it. It never was. And a part of you, deep down, has always known. You learn to smile in public and suffer at home. In front of people, you're the strong one, the one who holds it all together, who cracks jokes even when you're falling apart inside. You learn to say, "I'm fine," so fast you don't even have to think before you say it. And when the door closes, when it's just you and the silence of the apartment or the bedroom, the smile falls off like a mask that can finally be removed without anyone seeing the face underneath. You seek. You dedicate yourself. You do everything right, and yet abundance never comes. And the worst part? You start wondering if you're doing something wrong, if you're being heard up above, if it's meant for you at all. It's not a lack of faith or worthiness. It's a spiritual blockage that ordinary prayer alone cannot break. The Miracle Journal unblocks this in 21 days with a spiritual protocol that works exactly where your prayer doesn't reach. Along with the journal, you'll also receive as a gift the prayer guide and the Psalms manual with the most powerful sacred practices and texts to deepen your transformation. To claim your version of the journal, tap the link in the comments right below this video. The smile falls off like a mask that can finally be removed without anyone seeing the face underneath. No one sees that part. No one has ever seen that part. Not even the person who sleeps next to you. Not even the one who's known you since childhood. But someone has always seen it. Someone saw it every time the mask dropped the exact instant the door shut. You're holding on to a comment someone made quietly, almost without meaning to, weeks or maybe months ago. A small phrase said in passing in some random conversation, maybe with no intention to hurt, but it lodged itself inside you and won't leave. You repeat that phrase to yourself, at night, in the car, in the shower, trying to understand why something so small has so much power over how you see yourself. You've tried to rationalize it, told yourself you shouldn't care, that the person doesn't even remember saying it, but your body remembers, your soul remembers, and the phrase is still there, engraved, playing every time the silence allows it. And you get up early before everyone else wakes up, and you stand for a minute in front of the mirror, in a silence the whole house hasn't broken yet. It's not to get ready. It's to look at yourself, to try to recognize who's there, behind the tired eyes, behind the expression that hasn't had time to adjust for the day yet. Sometimes you like what you see. Most of the time, you don't, and no one knows that minute exists. That moment of absolute silence where you try to figure out if you are what others say you are, or if you're something else, something bigger, something that still doesn't have a name you can pronounce. It's not weakness to feel this. It's not drama. It's not an overreaction. It's not being a baby like someone once said, maybe even someone you loved. It's your soul asking for an identity in a world that only hands out pre-made labels, packaged, easy to stick on, and hard to peel off. And if you're standing right now, if you kept getting up early, smiling in public, carrying that comment, and going back to bed at 3 in the morning without giving up on anything, then you've already proven something most people never prove. You stay standing even when you don't know why. That has a name, and that name isn't weakness. If that scene hit you, hit that like button now as your public amen. It's not about the stats. It's not about the algorithm. It's about heaven recording what you just confessed openly without having to say a single word out loud. Here are 3 promises, and every single one of them will come true within this same video. Before you close this screen, I placed you here because this message is for you, and it's no coincidence you're still watching. First promise. The pain of feeling forgotten is a distraction because I never looked away from you, not even on the days you were absolutely sure you were alone. Second promise. The protocol you're about to receive will reveal the name heaven already uses to call you. A name different from every label they gave you, different from what school said when you were a kid, different from what your family repeated so many times you ended up believing it, different from what that relationship carved into you like it was the final truth. Third promise, at the end of this message, you will be able to declare your real identity out loud without needing anyone else's approval. I saw every silent attempt you made to be noticed. I saw when you tried harder just to be seen once, a single time, and the person didn't even notice. I saw when you gave up trying and retreated, thinking no one had noticed your absence from the table, the group, the conversation. I noticed. I always notice. I saw you before you started trying, and I'll keep seeing you after you stop. Stay with me until the end, because what comes next changes how you understand every sleepless dawn, every forced smile, every stored-up comment, every minute in front of the mirror. Close your eyes for a moment, or look away from the screen if you're in a place where you can do that right now. What I'm about to show you isn't a list of fun facts for you to skim through. These are signs. Signs that something is already moving inside you. Even if you haven't realized it yet, even if no one around you has realized it either. The first sign is that early morning. You wake up without an alarm, without any apparent reason, almost always around the same time, like your body has its own clock that no one programmed, and you lie there in the dark, feeling a call that has no name or clear form. You called it insomnia, a tired mind that won't shut off, bad sleep that needs more exercise, or less screen time before bed. But what's really happening is something else. Your spirit is being sought out before your mind even wakes up. Someone knocks on the deepest part of you first, before knocking on the door of your consciousness, because that's where, in the silence before thought, the real answer lives. The second sign is the sudden discomfort. Nicknames that used to not bother you started to weigh in a way they didn't before. Labels you carried since childhood, since adolescence, since that old relationship that's over but left a sticker stuck on you, now cause a discomfort that simply didn't exist before. You called it being more sensitive, being in a bad mood for no apparent reason, being too tired to put up with jokes you always put up with. But what this really is your soul rejecting a piece of clothing that no longer fits the size of who you're becoming. You're not just randomly irritated, you're being changed on the inside, and the old label no longer fits the new body you're receiving. The third sign is the people around you commenting that something about you has changed without being able to say exactly what. A friend notices and can't explain it. A family member finds it strange and asks if you're okay, even though nothing is visibly wrong. Someone who hasn't seen you in a while says you seem different, lighter or stronger, without being able to pinpoint the reason. You thought it was funny or even suspicious, thinking it was just the other person's imagination. But it's the external reflection of an internal call that's been underway longer than you realize. What's changing inside you is already leaking out, even before you have the words to explain what you're feeling. The fourth sign is the sudden desire to stay silent instead of explaining yourself. Before, you felt an almost physical need to justify every choice, every decision, every silence that was longer than normal. Now sometimes, you just don't feel that urgency to defend yourself anymore. You called it discouragement, being tired of arguing, not having the patience to fight for space anymore. But the silence being born in you isn't surrender, and it's certainly not indifference. It's the sign that you no longer need to prove who you are to anyone, because whoever already knows who they are doesn't beg for recognition in every conversation. The next sign is the hardest one to hear. It's the one the enemy spent the most time trying to make you ignore, label as exhaustion, sweep under the rug of rational explanation. The fifth sign is that feeling in your loneliest moments of being watched. Not in a threatening way, not in a way that scares you. In a constant way, almost familiar, like someone never left the room, never looked away from you, not even when the door was locked, not even when the lights were off, not even when you thought you were finally completely alone and no one in the world would know about that specific moment. You tried to explain it as a coincidence, as tiredness, as your mind playing tricks on you after a hard day. But this feeling has a name, and the name isn't chance. It's the constant attention of heaven, which never blinked. Not once from the day you were born until this exact second you're hearing this sentence. If any of these signs reached you, write the word free in the comments now, before you keep watching. Write it as a confession, not just some random comment. Maybe you recognized only one of these signs. Maybe you recognized all five, one after another, like I was describing your entire week in details you've never told anyone. It doesn't matter how many hit. What matters is that none of them are random, and none of them are signs that you're broken. They are signs that you are being prepared, layer by layer, to receive a name that hasn't fit into any conversation you've ever had up until today. Close your eyes for a second. Take a deep breath. What I'm about to tell you won't work if your attention is split between this screen and 3 other things at the same time. There's an old story that explains exactly what's happening to you. In the first book of Samuel, chapter 16, the prophet Samuel is sent to the house of a man named Jesse to anoint a new king for the people. The strongest, tallest, most impressive sons parade before him, one by one, and each one seems like the obvious candidate, the natural choice by appearance. And each time the answer from heaven is no. Samuel looks at the stature, the build, the external appearance, but heaven had already decided before any parade began. The chosen one was the youngest of all, the one out in the fields taking care of sheep, the one who hadn't even been called to the initial lineup because no one, not even his own father, thought he deserved to be there among his brothers. David was anointed before he proved anything to anyone. Before the battle against the giant, no one else had the courage to face. Before any military victory, before any public proof of worth, the oil had already been poured over his head. The choice came first. The explanation for those who doubted came much later, when it was no longer necessary. Now think of a different story, but with the same spirit behind it. There's a telescope that costs billions of dollars, built with the most advanced technology humanity has ever produced, capable of seeing entire galaxies, star clusters, systems that the average mind can barely imagine in scale. And at certain moments, the astronomers who operate this instrument choose to point it at a single point of light, small and distant, ignoring huge, bright galaxies all around it, because that specific point matters more for the research at that exact moment. Attention isn't measured by the size of what's being observed. It's measured by the intention of the one observing. A small point, almost invisible to anyone else, can be worth more in the eyes of someone who understands what they're seeing than an entire universe of distracting brightness all around. Just as David was chosen before proving his worth before anyone, And just as the astronomer defines the target before any public explanation of why that specific point matters more than everything else in the sky, you have already been selected. The choice already happened long before you tried to deserve anything. The explanation, if you ever need it, will come later when it won't make as much difference. What's missing now isn't for you to try harder to be seen. It's for you to stop moving, stop running after proof, so you can finally realize that you've been seen the whole time, with the same intensity as a telescope pointed only at you. If you identified with David before the crown, chosen before any proof, ignored by your own brothers but seen by heaven, write that in the comments now. Leave a record of what this story stirred up in you. Let me stop for a full minute here, because you've come too far for me to keep rushing without looking you in the eyes for a moment. You've made it to this point in the video, carrying labels you never chose for yourself. Some came from childhood, spoken by adults who didn't know the weight of their own words when they opened their mouths. Others came from relationships that are over, but left a sticker on you that still hasn't completely fallen off. Even after all this time, you recognized in the signs I just listed experiences you've lived through countless times and never knew how to name precisely. The wakeful dawn without a reason, the discomfort with the old nickname that used to not hurt, the other person's comment about the change you yourself can't explain, the silence that was born where there used to be forced explanation, the constant feeling of never truly being alone, even in the most isolated moments. You've lived through all of this, over and over, but you still haven't received out loud the name heaven uses to call you. What you're about to hear isn't a human title. It's not a self-help compliment. It's not a pretty phrase to post and forget the next day. It's what I call you when I talk to heaven about you. I know the exact time you've waited for this. I know how many days you held on alone, without telling anyone how tired you were, without asking for help out of pride or fear of being a burden to others. And here is the truth you need to hear now, with total clarity. None of those days went unnoticed by me. Not 1 minute, not one dawn, not one kept silence. And here is who you are within all of this. The first identity is this: chosen before the explanation. Say that phrase slowly, because it carries more weight than it seems on first reading. I saw the moments you felt discarded, ignored, left out of a line, a conversation, an important decision that didn't include you even out of politeness. And even so, you kept showing up again, kept trying again, kept appearing even when it seemed like no one was noticing your presence or your absence. That's not stubbornness, and it's certainly not naivety. It's identity being forged in silence, layer upon layer, every time you chose to continue. And what this identity authorizes is this: you can stop justifying why you deserve attention. You no longer need to write internal speeches, rehearsed in your head, explaining your own value to anyone. The choice was made before any explanation was demanded of you. The second identity is this: bearer of a name, not yet spoken out loud. I saw every silent attempt you made to redefine yourself alone, without anyone's help, trying to find new words for who you are, far from the labels you inherited without choosing. You tried many times, in silence, often without success, to rebuild your own identity with your own hands, like someone trying to rebuild a house without having the right materials. And what this identity authorizes is this: you can let go of the nicknames and labels other people put on you over the years, because none of them carry the weight of the true name that is already written over you in heaven, waiting for the right moment to be spoken out loud. The third identity is this: fixed target of heaven's attention. I saw every time you looked for confirmation in the wrong people, every time you checked your phone hoping for a message that would validate who you are, every time you changed your behavior, your clothes, your way of speaking, just to win the approval of someone who didn't always deserve that much power over you. And what this identity authorizes is this: you can stop seeking approval out there, in every face, in every slow reply to a text, because the most important attention that exists in the universe is already fixed on you, and it has never looked away for a single moment. Write in the comments now the name of the identity that just touched you. Chosen before the explanation, bearer of a name not yet spoken, or fixed target of heaven's attention. And if this message reached you at the right time, subscribe to the channel now, because other words like these are coming, and you're going to want to be here when they arrive. Now I'm going to give you something practical. A simple, free protocol called the Revealed Name Protocol. It has 3 steps, and you can do it today, alone, without needing anything more than a piece of paper, a pen, and a few minutes of absolute honesty with yourself. The first step is to write, on real paper, not on your phone, the labels other people have put on you throughout your life. Write each one down, even the ones that hurt just to remember, even the ones you wish you had forgotten forever. Don't filter what you write. Don't organize it neatly. Don't choose the softest words. Just write, in the order they come to mind. The second step is to cross out each label, one by one, in absolute silence, without justifying any of them, without explaining to anyone, not even to yourself, why you're crossing out that specific word. You don't need any argument to free yourself from something that, in truth, was never really yours in the first place, even if you carried it for years. The third step is to declare out loud, with your own mouth, the name you feel heaven is confirming right now, at this exact moment, as you read or hear these words. It can be a single word. It can be a short, simple phrase, without elaboration. The important thing is that it comes out of your mouth, out loud, not just kept in your thoughts as another silent wish. And the sign that the protocol worked won't be euphoria. It won't be a passing emotional explosion. It will be stillness, a silent peace, almost subtle, almost imperceptible to anyone on the outside, that settles in your chest and says, without shouting, without drama, that something has shifted inside you forever. If you are receiving this protocol now, write the word received in the comments. This matters more than it seems at first glance. Now I need to warn you about something, because it would be dishonest of me not to warn you before it happens. In the next 72 hours, 3 things will be launched against you, not as a distant possibility, as an absolute certainty, so pay attention to what comes next. The first tactic is called silent comparison. It arrives disguised as inspiration, right in the middle of your routine, while you're scrolling through other people's lives on social media, lying in bed before sleep. A photo, a video, someone else's achievement will appear on your screen, and instead of motivating you like it seemed at first, it will make you feel small again, like the name you just received isn't worth as much next to what others seem to have achieved. The second tactic is called borrowed validation. It arrives disguised as humility, convincing you that it's wrong to act before getting someone else's approval, before asking what others will think. It will seem wise to wait. It will seem prudent to consult everyone before taking the next step, but in reality, it's a trap designed to keep you hostage to other people's opinions, exactly in the thing you just decided to let go of here, today, now. The third tactic is called the rush for proof. It arrives disguised as productivity, pushing you to prove your worth through excessive effort, work, a schedule packed to the last hour, as if rest were weakness and stillness were synonymous with laziness. It wants to make you run after proof you no longer need to give to anyone, not even to yourself. And there's an internal enemy, more dangerous than the 3 external ones combined, because it speaks with your own voice, disguised as maturity, disguised as common sense. It will whisper like this, real softly, in the middle of an ordinary day. This is just a coincidence. It's not really about you. You're exaggerating the meaning of everything you heard today. That voice isn't wisdom, no matter how much it sounds like it. It's the last attempt to make you give up on the name that was just revealed to you in this video. If you want protection against these 3 tactics and against that internal voice that already knows your name, write "protected" in the comments now. The decree was sealed the exact moment you wrote that word. None of these 3 tactics have to take you down, because now you know the name of each one of them before they even knock on your door. That changes everything. What has a name loses the power to catch you off guard. You will recognize silent comparison in the middle of the infinite scroll. You will recognize borrowed validation disguised as well-meaning advice. You will recognize the rush for proof hidden behind a schedule too packed to be healthy. And you will remember in all three cases that the name you receive today doesn't depend on any of those voices to keep being valid. Now put your hand over your chest. Close your eyes, if you can do that where you are. Breathe slowly, 3 times, without any hurry, letting the air in and out, as if you're releasing, along with it, everything you've carried up to this point. There are burdens you've carried for too long, and it's time to let go of each one of them out loud, even if it's in a whisper. Let go of the oldest label you carry, the one that came before any other, the one that shaped how you see yourself even today, without you even realizing how much it still weighs. Let go of the need to prove your worth to every person who has ever doubted you at some point in your life. Let go of the constant comparison to those who seem to have more attention, more recognition, more space in the circle, because this was never a race you had to win to be loved. I saw the early mirror before everyone else woke up, that minute of absolute silence where you tried to recognize who was reflected there, trying to decide if you liked what you saw or not. I saw the comment said softly that stayed inside you for weeks, repeating, hurting, spinning in the early morning with no one knowing the real weight you carried alone. I saw the smile you showed in public while inside, at home, alone, with the door closed. The suffering had no witness other than me. I was there in every single one of those scenes, in every single one of them, without exception. I never left the room, not for a second, even when you were absolutely certain you were alone in there. You no longer need to prove anything to anyone who has ever doubted you. You no longer need to compare yourself to those who seem to shine brighter in front of others. You no longer need to carry a name you never chose, that someone else put on you without asking permission. What is yours is already sealed by heaven, and none of it depends on who doubted you up to this point, nor on who will still doubt you tomorrow. From other people's labels to revealed name, from constant comparison to fixed and permanent attention, from demanded proof to identity received as a gift, from silent waiting to destiny declared out loud. Now say it out loud, even if it's softly. Even if only you hear these words coming out of your own mouth. I am who he says I am. It is done. What was delivered here was truly delivered, and you are not the same person you were when this message started a few minutes ago. Amen. If this word reached you at the right time, write "done" in the comments now as a seal on this delivery that just happened. And think of someone specific, a person you know by name, who also needs to hear that they have already been chosen before any explanation, that they are also a fixed target of an attention that has never looked away for a single moment. Send this video to that person now, before the rush of the day makes you forget this desire you feel right now. And if they want to go beyond what this video delivers, the link is in the first comment, waiting with the same patience that waited for you until today. In the next video, I'm going to show you what to do when the revealed name starts being tested by real life, when the people around you still try to call you by the old label, as if nothing had changed. Keep waiting for that meeting, because it is already being prepared. It is done. You are not the same person you were when this message began. You seek. You dedicate yourself. You do everything right, and yet abundance never comes. And the worst part? You start wondering if you're doing something wrong, if you're being heard up above, if it's meant for you at all. It's not a lack of faith or worthiness. It's a spiritual blockage that ordinary prayer alone cannot break. The Miracle Journal unblocks this in 21 days with a spiritual protocol that works exactly where your prayer doesn't reach. Along with the journal, you'll also receive as a gift the prayer guide and the Psalms manual, with the most powerful sacred practices and texts to deepen your transformation. To claim your version of the journal, tap the link in the comments right below this video.